Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Talk Now. I'm Larry here. We're talking live, and I've got a special guest. His name is Max. He has another YouTube channel, and I put the link in the description. You can go check out his YouTube channel. He actually has a crypto channel and also a regular gaming channel, which is really interesting. And Max, if you just want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about how how you found me and the reason why is kind of cool, why I have you on the video. I won't steal the thunder from you. You can go ahead and explain what happened, how you found me, what you first started following me with, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Well, first of all, it's an absolute honor to be on your show, Crypto Talk Now. I actually been following Larry's channel, which is Crypto Talk Now, since he had roughly about 100 subs or so. He just seemed like a very honest, nice person who was very informative on certain crypto projects. I think at the time I saw that he was in Saitama. I myself and part of the Saitama Wolfpack and so on, and he was covering other community driven projects and so on. And I just thought, like roughly around this 100 sub mark, I thought, I'm going to follow him, and I've been following Larry for a while now, and hats off to him, on having a little over 6,600 subs, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm trying to get to 7,000. But yeah, I really appreciate your support. And when we were chatting, or you were messaging and commenting in the live stream that I had a while back, a few days ago, you were saying about how you had first found me when I had 100 subs. And I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to try to get comfortable with these live streams, and I want to have more on a regular basis. And I'm like, what better guest to have than a true supporter, true fan of the channel, someone that came up with me when I only had 100 subs and watched me progress now to over 6,000. So I'm actually honored that you're here. And
thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I thought, let's, it might be fun to have some different people that are subscribers to the channel, not just, other people that have huge YouTube channels. And hopefully, like I said, we can grow together. Right. So yeah, we just talked, we just met each other face to face. Just for anybody that's watching, just about 15 minutes ago, we were talking off backstage, off camera here. And so what I wanted to jump into, Max, and the basic thing for anybody watching is I want to talk a little bit about the news of Elon Musk that we just found out today that Twitter announced that he is going to be able to buy Twitter. So we'll talk about that. And then also Max has maybe 3 or 4 different cryptos tokens that I really don't know much about. And I'd love to hear more about them. And so let's just jump over into it. If you guys can see my screen here, I'm going to share the screen. So you can see that, right, Max?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So you can just see right here, this is from the New York Times, but I'm sure it's all over the place. I just Googled it real quick because I got a notification on my phone, but it's probably on a bunch of websites, and I'm sure a bunch of different YouTubers have talked about it. I haven't had a chance. I was out a lot today. I haven't had a chance to watch any videos or read much about it, but we've been following the story for a while, and they reached a deal to buy. Looks like Elon Musk is going to buy it for $54.20 a share. And that's a 38% premium over what the value is as of this article. So that's really interesting. So my quick thoughts on it, my knee-jerk reaction to this was, this is really cool because Elon Musk is so pro crypto that I feel like he's going to have like a captured market. Like before he has obviously a bunch of followers. I don't know what he has, like 65 million followers or whatever it is. But he loves talking about crypto. And I just think that this is going to be a big thing to help out crypto. And, I think Dogecoin, like you mentioned earlier, we were talking off camera, is really pumping now. I just think that if he has the ability to reduce the amount of censorship on Twitter, and being he's a pro crypto guy, I think it's going to really help crypto. What are your thoughts on that, Max?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He definitely is a big advocate for the crypto space in general. I mean, he's been nicknamed as being, the Doge father for quite a while.
Right. Yep.
Actually, if it wasn't for Dogecoin, I wouldn't have gotten into some of these altcoins. I mean, a few years ago, I think it was like 2016, 2017, I had a little holding of Bitcoin. Ironically, I've actually known about Bitcoin since 2009, 2010, roughly. It's a long story. Yeah.
That's before me. Yeah. I first learned about it in 2013 from a friend. Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into all the specifics on that, but it was one of those things where it was like, man, you could have really, done well. But nonetheless, I had a friend and he told me roughly early January 2021, he said to me, he says, hey, you know what? I got into Dogecoin at 0.005, lucky bum, right? And he ended up selling his position when it went to like not quite all-time highs, but like I would say, I don't know, I think it was like roughly at the 55-cent mark or something like that. So he cashed out his position. He ended up making about $5 million. And he was telling me at the 1 cent mark at the end of January of 2021, he was like, you're never going to see this below a cent again. He's like, I'm just going to tell you flat out. But he's like, it's trending. He's like, you're going to see people who are going to FUD this. And at the time I was like, FUD? What's FUD? I'm like completely new to this. And
yeah,
so
right.
I ended up getting it on, like the average newbie out there. Nothing against it, right? Robinhood. And then, he said, try to get like a, like, I think he said something like, try to buy $20,000 worth. And I'm like, man, I'm a school teacher, like I don't make that great income. And I said, all I could afford at the time is $300. So I bought 30,000 Doge, and I did luck out as far as that price goes because it's only a penny. And then I did see it go up to all-time highs, and right before all-time highs, I actually did cash out on that, and I made about roughly $22K on my position off my $300 investment. And then from there, I got what I like to refer to is the crypto bug. I got bit by the crypto bug, and then from there I said to myself, all right, I want to find coins in which are not just a penny, but other ones that might be below a penny. And then boom, right there, Shiba Inu stood out. Yeah. And then I started seeing other top influencers like Your Pop. Not to control the whole conversation because I don't want to do this. Is your show.
No, you keep going. You're doing fine, brother. Just keep going the way you want to
go. So believe it or not, I was following Your Pop and so on, and I was getting really into Shiba Inu, and it just seemed like, wow, this is a really cool project, but I need to find out more about it, like anything, right? Do your own research. Yep. And, I always saw that Your Pop was always every day, like literally, even now, right? It's always Shiba Inu. And so I said to myself, and at the time, this was like early May, and I was like, I got to get myself some Shiba Inu. And I would have watched some tutorials on how to do it, and it just seemed like it was such a learning curve, if you will. It's kind of like a scary thing because, it's the unknown, right?
Yeah.
For a person who just went from Robinhood to Shiba Inu and using Uniswap and all these things, it can be kind of intimidating.
It is intimidating for somebody new, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, it was like, oh, man, well, and this was, I'm not going to say it's stupid. It's just more like you don't know what you don't know. And my thing was, oh, man, well, maybe from the rumors I've heard it will be on Robinhood. Obviously, that's not going to be on Robinhood. It just now got on Robinhood like, what, a week or two ago? Not even that.
Yeah, there was so much buildup last year for Shiba Inu to go on Robinhood, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's almost like nobody really cared when it just went on the other day because everyone was so like gearing up for it, and then just out of the blue. Yeah, I think they were waiting for their wallet to get done, and I think they had some things going on behind the scenes, possibly from a tax standpoint or also a regulatory standpoint. That's Robinhood I'm talking about. But yeah, Dogecoin was the first meme coin that I got into pretty heavy. I did well. I sold off, a little too soon, but I don't want to be greedy. I mean, I did make a profit, but as long as you're making a profit, it's good. But it's man, if I could have got it up to held on to it when it was like 60, 70 cents, what it was like 73 cents, that would have been something. Then I went into Shiba Inu and then Saitama. And I think the big thing is everybody kept saying, oh, what's the next, Dogecoin? It's Shiba Inu. And then what's the next Shiba Inu? It seemed like it was Saitama.
It did seem like it was Saitama.
That's what really got people into memes. And now everybody looks at it like, okay, what's the next Shiba Inu? What's the next Saitama? But a lot of these don't go anywhere. Before we go on, I'm just going to say hello to a couple of good supporters to the channel. And that's that guy. I'm sure a lot of you have seen him on other YouTubers' channels. And let's say hello to Kingsman as well. He's saying that CBC pumping soon, 3 to 4 centralized exchanges coming. And then also let's give a shout out and a warm welcome to Matt Boswell. I'm bullish on Crowcoin. Yeah, me too. Shib and Saitama. So let's show up some of these comments. But yeah, we've got a special treat for you. Max is here. We're going to talk about some tokens that I normally don't talk about on the channel. That's really piqued my interest. And I'm interested to hear what Max has to say about them. I'm not an expert on any of these tokens. I had a small bag of Zill. But yeah, do you want to start out talking about, I'm going to botch the way it's pronounced. Is it Metapolis?
No, you got it right. It is Metapolis. And
okay.
no,
All right.
It's okay. And I want to, welcome to those who joined the channel, Kingsman, that guy, Matt Boswell, and so on. We really do appreciate you guys joining the live stream tonight. This was, of course, promoted on Twitter and so on. For Matt, I saw you're bullish on Crow. I'm extremely bullish on Crow. I just want to state that. I've been in Crow for a while. I actually got it when it was 17 cents. And saw it, of course, go up to all-time highs and so on. I'm still holding close to about 11,000 of that and must keep staking because I really believe that in the next 5 to 6 years, there's enough evidence to show that it will surpass Binance. Again, nothing what we're stating as financial advice or anything like that. But if you look at what they're planning on doing with the the coin burns and their total supply, big things for Crow. Absolutely. They're just killing with the marketing too. So
I see great things happening for Crow as well. To me, I agree with you. I think it's the next Binance. They have their own blockchain. To me, with the regulation that's coming in, say what you want about regulation. I'm not crazy about it. I guess there'll be some good things. But with the new regulations coming down the pike, more people will be going to centralized exchanges, in my opinion. And, Crypto.com has a great name. I mean, it's easy to recognize, right? It has the word crypto in it. I just think when people go there, they encourage you to stake it. They're going to pay you the APY, and then also they give you the cards and encourage you to use those. I just think that Crow is definitely a long-term hold for me, and a lot of people would agree with that. So whenever you're ready, you want to talk about Metapolis, tell me about that. I know that it has to do with the metaverse, but that's all I know. I didn't do any research before this because I wanted to kind of be surprised by you. And I wanted to keep an open mind. Yeah. So do you remember when it came out? Like, has it been around for a while?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So there is kind of a misconception about Metapolis being officially out. They did have a big run up to the Miami event because, Miami had, CryptoCon, you got, Bitcoin Miami, et cetera, et cetera. And going up to that, it's kind of like the saying goes, was it sell the news, buy the hype, or whatever you want to call it? But there was a lot of that. And
buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah.
There you go. I got the expression messed up, but
that's fine.
Nonetheless, there was a lot of that, and people were expecting that we were going to have, like, I don't know why, but like a full launch, and it's more like a glimpse because it's not even a full teaser of the full project. So on my channel, for instance, I was expecting, along with a lot of other people, that at the VIP event they would have some kind of live stream basically showing some footage from Metapolis, and unfortunately there wasn't. And so I thought, with all the people who are going to be at this event, somebody is going to be recording footage from Metapolis, and I'm going to be the guy who's going to leak out that footage. And as a result, I got quite a big following on that. I would say a big chunk of my subscribers are from that and so on, because people like myself just simply wanted to see kind of like what you're seeing on the screen right now, right? You're seeing, I guess you could say, demo footage from Metapolis. This person you see right here, his name is Mohan. He's actually one of this, I should say one of them, but he is the CEO. He is part of the dev team. That is his official avatar of how he looks in Metapolis. You can actually compare that to actually how he really looks. So if you actually go to metapolis.studio and you go further down where the dev team is, Larry, if you just drop one. They'll show you what their avatars, of course, look like.
Is it down here towards the bottom of the website?
Yeah, it should be towards the bottom. Not mistaken.
Okay. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, just hover your mouse. That's how he really looks. I mean, it's kind of close. I mean, the one for Sandra, in my opinion, doesn't look anything like her. But at the end of the day, this is how they want to look. So, maybe that's what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, for some of us, we might not want an avatar of a human person. It might be, as the saying goes, a furry or like a mascot. You never know. But
yeah,
the point is, you can create just about anything in Metapolis, and they're going to give you the tools to do that. Excuse me.
Is it functional now? Is this more of a concept, or is this something that you can jump on and start using in their metaverse? Like, how far along is the project, would you say?
Well, the project is basically, I believe, since like last October, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, the unveiling was for VIPs who showed up at that Miami event. They got to, catch a glimpse of it. And that was pretty impressive as far as people who did get to go to that. They had a big planetarium. So if you showed up, they're not going to have VR, headsets for everybody or anything like that, right? But they had a big planetarium in downtown Miami, which you go into it, and it kind of simulated the feel of what it would be like to be in the Metapolis, like a big dome and so on. And that's the key thing with Metapolis is, as we speak, as especially for all the viewers who are watching right now, let's face it, this is a crypto, I should say, a metaverse rush, right? So there's a gold rush from the 1800s, right, for land and so on. And right now, as we speak, like in Oklahoma back in the 1800s, right, they had the big land rushes and so on. You stake your land. Well, right now, what's going on in crypto and with the metaverses is it's literally just that. You have multiple projects, whether it's Shiba Inu, whether it's this Metapolis, another coin token project I covered not that long ago, Solace. They have these big land events where it's literally just that. You're trying to have some kind of utility token. You have to hold so much of that. You got to combine that with the NFTs, and then you're able to stake your plot of land, right?
Yeah,
and
that's so cool.
Right. So with Metapolis, for instance, it's a kind of a different play in regards to that. You don't have to necessarily, hold a certain amount of NFTs or anything like that. What they're going to create is you're going to be able to get like a dome, and inside the dome is going to be your own creation of, it could be anything, like, for educational purposes. It could be like a little club for, hip hop or R&B or you name it, right? But cool, the big brands, right? Let's say, I'm just gonna throw out an example. Let's say, for instance, your Adidas or Nike and so on. Those, will be in like cities, right? And then I imagine, again, I don't know for 100% sure on this, but in real life, right? If we try to get real estate, as the saying goes, it's location, location, location. So I imagine, location. Right. So I imagine inside of these virtual cities, it's going to be just that. And, what I would like to know, just like you guys, would be, well, if, I'm getting into Shiba Inu and I'm trying to, I don't know, spend so much of my leash trying to get this part, this particular plot of land, am I getting prime virtual real estate? No one really knows that yet, because that hasn't been really discussed yet. So
you need to get what's next to Snoop Dogg, right?
Right.
What is he in, like the Sandbox or Decentraland? One of those.
Yeah, he's in Sandbox.
Sandbox.
Right. And then there's another one that he was going to be coming into. Actually, I believe it might be LunaOne, which we'll be talking about here soon too. So,
do you want to jump over? What do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about LunaOne or Zill? What do you want to jump around and talk about?
Well, I just want to take a brief moment on Metapolis, and for you guys that are watching, for instance, I realize that you might have the attitude that in a way about this whole tribalism, and you don't want to do tribalism when it comes to the metaverse. At least I'm not doing that personally. You don't want to be just loyal to this particular thing because you're going to have, I don't know, your dome or your plot of land in this particular, platform. Me personally, moving forward, because I've been, heavily invested in crypto for a little over a year you know. And my attitude is I want to get into multiple metaverse plays because that is literally where I see the market cap, the general crypto market cap, right? We went from 3 trillion, we're below 2 trillion right now. We're at like, what was it, 185, something like that. Which
Around
sucks. That. Let's face it, that sucks. You know, we want to see that turn around, and it will. But in my opinion, the two big things that are going to get that market cap way up is the transferring of all this money and all this volume. And the majority of that, let's face it, is going to happen in these metaverse platforms. That's why you have Facebook rebranding itself to Meta. Think about it. Like this is Metapolis. Metapolis.
Right. It's in the name.
So it's literally in the name. So those are the type of plays I want to get involved in. And coming from a gamer perspective, I mean, you know, I have my other channel, which is, you know, I didn't want to blend the two channels into one, but like, for instance, I've been doing online gaming for a little over 20 years. And I've seen where, like, for instance, Call of Duty, the last Call of Duty game, or the last Modern Warfare game that had what they call like a mod development kit where you can create your own custom maps and make your own version of that game was back in 2008. You know, so 2009 Modern Warfare 2 came out and they just got rid of all those tools. What I like is seeing a project like Metapolis stating beforehand, before they do like a public launch, that you will get the tools to create like these own custom, you know, environments, if you will, or, you know, if you're in the music, you know, these clubs or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. To me, that stands out because there is other metaverse plays out there, platforms, I should say, but there is no announcement of making all these custom things. It's kind of like, here's the template, here's what you get. And that's going to be appealing to some people, but for other people who might know like coding or whatever, right? They want to hop on the ones where they can make something from scratch. And that's what really stood out for me with this Metapolis project.
Let me just ask you this real quick, Max. Do you see, when you talk about all the platforms, see the big ones are obviously Sandbox, Decentraland, Metapolis is something that I need to learn more about. It looks, I mean, the graphics are amazing on the website. Is there going to be something that you feel, I mean, obviously there's the Shibverse. Is there going to be something that's going to link all of the metaverse, the different metaverses together? Or are they going to kind of be like silos that are separate? Is there going to be some kind of a bridge that we can kind of have like a world all together? Or is it just like, I'm in this metaverse and this is the land I own. These are the NFTs. These are all the different things that I have.
Right.
Or do you think there's going to be something that's going to kind of bridge everything together?
There is currently, that's a great question. Currently, there is certain metaverse platforms, for instance, like I'm going to be obviously talking about LunaOne here in a second. And for instance, the nice thing about LunaOne is there is going to be that cross bridging, like you were talking about, where you can do that. Unfortunately, on some of these projects, no, you're not going to be able to do that. It's a little bit more limited and so on. And I imagine it has to do with, you know, the functionality of what they're built upon. What you see right now with Metapolis, for instance, you see, you know, this is Mohan, who's the CEO, part of the dev team, but this is built on Unreal Engine 5. Another, you know, metaverse play, if you will, you know, Shiba Inu's unofficial Shibverse, right? They don't really have an official name yet. At least I could be mistaken about that.
Boy, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Max.
Yeah,
because
that's okay.
Miss NFT Queen is well known to be on a lot of channels. She's very knowledgeable. Sure. She goes on Roddy's channel a lot, asks great questions, and this is a good compliment with her asking this. No, Max is not the dev, but you can tell that he's very knowledgeable in this space, especially, you know, talking about the metaverse, and I'm sure other things. But do you want to address that? I mean, she actually was asking if you're the dev, but you're an investor and somebody that's excited about the project. But you can, if you want to answer her question, or maybe I already did answer it.
Well, you already did, but I mean, you know, that's a great compliment. You know, I've actually had other people, when I first, you know, covered Metapolis, say something like, one of the comments was, you know, when a random YouTuber does a better job of covering Metapolis than the dev team, and then like he gave me like a clapping emoji. I mean, it's humbling. I'm not. I would never be the type of guy to brag about any of that stuff or anything like that. But yes, I'm very into this and so on. Just to give you a little background on myself, like I have my MBA, entrepreneurship emphasis and so on. And a few years ago, I actually met with some venture panel groups, believe it or not, trying to get my own video games going on. And they were just super greedy and wanted to take about 80% of profits and so on. But my point is, when I get into projects or research projects, yes, I try to learn everything about it. Metapolis was one of those things in which I just felt as though there wasn't enough coverage. Nothing. I'm not, of course, flooding the dev team. I would never do that. That would make no sense. But I do try to cover things I notice that they don't, I guess you could say, cover, if you will. I always, even if I see a snippet of Metapolis, even if it's like 15 seconds, I'm going to share that. Because you know what? Not everybody uses Twitter, right? Let's face it. Not everybody uses Medium. I mean, some people are literally on the go, driving down the street, and it's kind of like a form of radio journalism to a sense.
Right. I mean, I always say, not to interrupt, but I always say if you've got a great product or project, or if you in this case, it's crypto, if you don't have solid marketing behind it or a lot of hype, a lot of momentum, it's really hard to get the word out. Like you could have the best website in the world or the best product in the world, and if nobody knows about it, it hurts. And then you get some things that are not such great products, but they're well known because they have excellent marketing teams and marketing plans and programs and advertising behind them. And, you look at a project like Saitama. I mean, a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but one thing they did extremely well was create the marketing plan, move it forward, create the hype, the momentum, getting the word out. And unfortunately, not all crypto projects have that type of momentum. But if we can talk about them, I mean, I'm not invested in Metapolis, and this is the first, whatever it was a couple of days ago, we chatted, you mentioned it to me on Twitter. I'm not familiar with a lot of these projects that you're talking about, but this, I believe, last year was kind of like the year of the meme. And I think this is going to be the year of both crypto gaming and the metaverse. So I'm very, very interested to start talking about these type of things on my channel. And what better way to do that than to start with you, because it sounds like you've really dived into a lot of this stuff to learn about it, talk about it.
Well, I'll be honest, I have. I just felt as though like there's certain ones that needs coverage or more coverage, if you will. And there's other ones that just simply, I guess you could say, get too much coverage. Metapolis was one of those in which, let's face it, it's an opportunity for myself. I'm a small YouTube channel. I'm still growing.
Well, we're going to work on that. We need to get you more exposure. I'm going to do the best I can and get you some exposure on this channel. And before you know it, you'll be catching up with everybody else, and you'll start to have a nice big channel. I'm sure of it because you speak really well on the subject. So you're going to get there.
Well, thanks, Larry. Appreciate that. But yeah, for everybody, I mean, as the saying goes, you got to do your own research. See if Metapolis is a platform that you actually see yourself on. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, as the saying goes, what kind of utility does this have? Well, Metapolis is actually part of Zilliqa. Zilliqa is the main coin behind it. And you just look at it as though like this is a smart contract, if you will. Zilliqa has many smart contracts underneath it. And at the end of the day, I mean, like a couple of my friends got into Zilliqa because of Metapolis right during that Miami event. They felt as though, they kind of like FOMO'd in. They felt as though, oh man, I should get in now because this thing might not be at 21 cents and, might all of a sudden go to, 40 cents, 50 cents and so on. And as a result, how it is, the market's volatile. And as a result, it went down to like 15 cents. And I think currently speaking, I'm going to look at the page real quick. It's at a little over 10 cents. For me personally, I think maybe next payday or something like that, I might pick up a second bag because that's roughly, like half. But you know what? Like I was telling my friend, when I first covered Zilliqa, even on the video description, it said, I felt as though I was like, I'm extremely bullish on this. And I think I covered at like 9 cents. So I technically should have just like got into it right at 9 cents. But you know what? These things happen. I mean, the way I look at it is, for me personally, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Kronos, aka crypto.com coin. I lucked out on this. I got Kronos for 17 cents a coin, sold at roughly close to all-time highs, made about 10 grand on that off a $1,700 investment. And I still hold a big bag of that. Yeah. So, last year alone, I made about 120K off of roughly 23,000 in investing. Wow. I did very well for myself, but I should have waited after, let's face it, the Russia-Ukraine war, things like that. Yeah. But none of us know this stuff, what I mean? But it's a learning experience, It's like, if you're the type of person in which you're going to have the attitude that you're going to look at the market, you only want to go after what's green, right? What's up. Well, that's going to be a learning experience for you, especially if you get into those token and coin projects. But on top of that, you can learn from it, because myself, I'm definitely learning from I should have waited for an extreme crash, because those are the moments where, as the saying goes, you back up your truck and you fill up, everything. So
I personally like buying in the red. There's different ways of looking at things, but to me, when the market's down or really crashing, there's a flash crash, that just means that it's it's kind of like Black Friday, right? Everything is on sale. Just time to load up on good projects. But I've got the chart up here on Zill. So I don't completely understand. I know you touched on it. So Metapolis is built on Zill. So forgive my ignorance on this project. I haven't looked into it, but Zill, do they have their own blockchain? Is that what it is?
Correct. Zill does have its very own blockchain. And they have smart contracts under, if you go to the, I think you have a tab up for it. So for instance, if you go to Zilliqa.com, go to the very top far right ecosystem.
Okay, top far right. Are you seeing this on your screen? You see the website?
Let me get back to that tab real quick. Yep, I see it.
Okay.
And then, all right, I got you all full screen as well. So yeah, if you go there and then you click on the top right for the ecosystem.
Okay.
And then you should be able to just scroll down just a little bit. Or actually, the catalog. That's fine. Click on the catalog.
Okay.
And just, scroll down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It just mentions some of the top ones and so on. I have a lot of people on my Twitter space, if you will. They're always I shouldn't use the term shill, but might as well just say it. They're always shilling XCAD, and I personally need to look more into XCAD and see what the big deal is in regards to all that. Believe it or not, shout out to Fox, man. He's actually my real life childhood friend who's in this channel. Shout out to him.
Cool.
Yeah, he was actually for a while telling me, and he's like, man, you gotta get into crypto and so on. So I give a lot of credit to him.
Wow.
He's telling me as of recently. Yeah, what's up, Aaron? Hello.
So you've known him since childhood, you said?
I've known him since 8th grade.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Back in 1994.
That's a friend for life right there.
Yeah, I've known him. Well, I've been away for so long. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. I live in Phoenix, but nonetheless, I'm turning 41 next month. So he's like a year older. But anyway, beside the point. What I was going to say is, he's telling me, of course, about certain ones, to look into. Kava, he was mentioned. Now that's the next one on my, got to do more research and so on. But that seems impressive with that particular project. We won't get into that right now, but he was mentioning, they got the whole thing with was it Ethereum and Cosmos, where it's together, if you will. That sounds impressive, especially when Ethereum goes to layer 2, right? That's just going to be a game changer for everything. But
it is. Ethereum, we've been waiting for a long time. We thought version 2 was coming out last year for Ethereum, but Ethereum, I hate to say this because I'm wearing all the Bitcoin gear, but Ethereum might flip Bitcoin one day. I mean, it's got a ton of utility, and the NFTs really helped Ethereum big time. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But version 2, people have been very patient because the gas fees are high, and they've come down somewhat. But, the network is slower, but there's just a ton of utility. Everybody trusts, Ethereum more than Binance. but we'll have to wait and see. So is Zill more of like a metaverse type of blockchain that they have gaming too, or is that kind of their specialty?
So no, not necessarily. For instance, like, if you go back, actually just hit back real quick and you hover your mouse over that ecosystem, it should
Over the
show
ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, it might take a second. No, I guess not. And then hover
I've got
over
ecosystem catalog and ecosystem stats.
No, it's all right. For some reason, I don't know why it's not showing you like the umbrella, if you will, but maybe hover it right over where it says catalog, just real quick.
Okay. You want to click on that?
Yeah, it did it for me. That's weird. But yeah, that's okay. Nonetheless,
I got to figure out how to share how to make it so that you can share your screen in StreamYard. I don't know if you know how to do that. I have to probably.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just basically click on the same things that I was showing you from before. But there we go. Like if you just click on or hold your mouse over the ecosystem, it doesn't really matter, but it basically shows you an umbrella of everything they got going on. Okay, there we go. So basically, I clicked on ecosystem, then I moved my mouse down to like the gray area a little bit. Okay, it took you to a different page. That's okay. But nonetheless, like for instance, you see all these different projects that the umbrella. It's kind of like the concept of Cardano, for instance. They got all the smart contracts and so on. But again, Cardano and Zill, which is Zilliqa, part of its own blockchain and so on. But yeah, they're not just metaverse plays. I mean, they got so many different ones and so on. Like was it XCAD and so on. So they definitely cover a vast amount of other projects. And some of these other projects, of course, have their own tokens that are available to view on, like CoinGecko, CMC, and so on. So
do you feel what do you feel like talking about next? Do you want to talk about LunaOne or do you want to talk about Clearpool?
Let's take a look at Clearpool real quick. I know some people were thinking that I was going to cover that at the beginning, and that's fine. But yeah, believe it or not, Clearpool, shout out to, of course, the Clearpool team. I was, how should I explain this? I was on the fence for a while back in December, roughly mid-December, for a while on creating a crypto channel. And I said to myself, you know what? With my channel, I want to cover really good projects that fly under the radar that don't get enough coverage. Because let's face it, I mean, if I try to hop into the whole, Shiba Inu / Dogecoin / whatever, right?
Saitama.
yeah, so on. It's just it's just too saturated. I mean, I'm sure you see it yourself. It absolutely is. I mean, I'm glad that you caught fire when you did.
Especially, my channel. I built my channel. It went crazy with Saitama, and obviously, I don't have a huge channel, but it just was going nuts. I remember one point. I looked at a 10-day window and I had gained 2,000 subs in 10 days. It was just going crazy. But I tried to make videos on Shiba Inu and not many people watch them because a lot of the big YouTubers already cover them. But you're smart in trying to find your niche, find something that you really know about, you enjoy researching. And if you find, not a lot of people are talking about it, then all the more better. You'll become, sort of like the expert in those areas.
I don't consider myself an expert or anything, But,
well, you'll become one eventually,
right? But yeah, just to give you guys a little background. So I decided, you know what? Clearpool was one that was on my radar since roughly like October, right after its initial coin offering. So what I want you to do, Larry, if you don't mind, if you could actually bring up their CMC page real quick.
Yep. And I had it up earlier, and I'm trying to. So this would be. Let me just see if I can find it here.
Yeah, if you just go to CMC and just type in C-Pool, it will come right up.
Type in Clearpool, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
All right. So if you click on from there, if you actually go to where it says all on that chart.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just click on that real quick. Okay, cool. And so from what you guys can see right here, actually, if you go to the very far left of that graph, I guess you could say, lucky enough to see Clearpool like right after the initial DAO offering, the IDO, believe it or not, because this was actually something that was a private sale, right? And they had they had this, I think it was like late October or something like that, and you could basically get this for 4 cents, a Clearpool token, right? From that site. I, of course, didn't know about it at the time, but nonetheless, when I saw it on CMC, I saw it roughly right around the 40-cent mark. And then from there, it was just like literally every other day, it would just have this huge leap. So if you look at where it's at, like on, where is it, October 29th, and then it goes from there to like roughly about 40 cents. And then on November 3rd, it's like 53 cents. November 5th, 91 cents. And then a big run up, $1.33, well over $1. Kind of drops down a little bit because, I'm sure you're having some people selling off on, like KuCoin and so on. That's where I have this. And then you see all-time highs roughly 2.5 weeks from the initial DAO offering. Okay. Some people call it ICO and so on. So I just want to put a little emphasis on this right here. So, it says that amount right there, but roughly for a few hours on that particular day, which would have been the 16th of November, this was roughly around $2.57 a token. And my attitude is this, and again, I'm going to put a little emphasis on this, and that was, we had a lot of good things going on. We had a $3 trillion market cap overall in the global, crypto market space, if you will. Clearpool in itself didn't have their mainnet. They didn't even have their test net. So all you have basically is this idea, this vision of what is coming in the future, and it was tremendous. Now, keep in mind, after you see these all-time highs, of course, there's some sell-offs and so on, but even by the end of December and so on, for the most part, it's kind of holding its own. I mean, it's dropping down to $1, so on. And of course, there's things that happened, right, at the beginning of the year, crypto crash and so on, and then, the Russia-Ukraine war thing, that didn't help any at all.
I remember this time period. This is
horrible time period, right?
Well, I mean, this was the good time right before Vegas for Saitama, and everything was up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In October, Shiba Inu pumped, and Saitama and Kisha Inu, everything that I was in that was a meme. No, I was just saying this was around the all-time high there. Clearpool was a lot of cryptos, tokens, and coins were just really, really doing well. But yeah, no, it's like I said, I'm looking to get into solid projects, and so you're saying you got in way down here, like the second or third day that it launched?
No, I wish. But the cool thing was, it was one of those things that was on my radar. You have to also keep in mind, like, I really, have spent like so much in crypto anyway. I mean, I recently made more money than I ever made in my life off of Shiba Inu because I sold my position like right around the time of all-time highs. So for me, I got into Shiba Inu, believe it or not. It was like roughly late May of 2021. But again, back to the whole thing we're talking about at the very beginning, where I was new to the whole thing. I just came from like Robinhood. I was a big newbie, and it was a big learning barrier, if you will, to go from something like Robinhood to, hey, I need to figure out how to use like Uniswap but anyway, I actually saw that it was on crypto.com and ended up getting on there, and then the whole thing of like having transaction limits, what I mean, and trying to increase that and so on. But at the end of the day, after about roughly like a week, I filled up my position to like a little over 1 billion coins and so on, and I got into Shiba Inu at 50799, and then I saw it go. My position, for instance, it was close to like was at 0.4088. It was just a little bit below that, roughly.
Probably like around October, probably last year, is what you're talking about. When it
it was like roughly right around that time. I was just like, I was looking at these graphs and so on, looking at a little bit of DEX tools.
Oh, I think I lost you for a minute. You lost your connection there, Max. So anybody that's joined us here, Welcome everybody to the stream. We've got Max on the channel. It looks like he's having some connection issues. He seems to be pretty knowledgeable. We just started talking the other day. He's knowledgeable about Clearpool and Zill. We're going to bring him back into the stream here. Here we go. Okay. So welcome back. We had a connection issue, I think, on your end.
Yeah,
Max.
it's something with this. Yeah, I think
Okay.
something with this camera or something like that. I was having some issues earlier. Sorry about that.
We're just talking about Shiba Inu in case you've joined us, and we started out talking about, Max was talking about Clearpool. So go ahead, Max. You can continue on what you were saying.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. Just for some reason lost connection, but nonetheless, you know, with Clearpool, for instance, I saw it roughly, hit those all-time highs and so on, and you got to keep in mind, my attitude was, the vision behind it and so on. You see these tremendous all-time highs in a short amount of time, and during that time there was no test net, there was no main net, and it was just like, what is Clearpool all about? And so when I researched it more, for instance, Larry, if you could go to their main page, which is clearpool.finance.
Okay.
It mentions, for instance, there you go, earn market leading returns on your stable coins. And, that was my thing. At the end of the day, I totally know where you guys are coming from. It's like, at some point, you got to say to yourself, you got to have some kind of exit plan for all of this. Right. And as the saying goes, other channels will tell you the same thing, and that is, you can't be married to your crypto. You just can't. True. Yeah, don't whatever you do, don't do that. I mean, you could be a big fan. You don't have to sell your whole position.
If you guys are married to a crypto token or coin, make sure you get a crypto divorce. You don't want to be married to one project. Oh, I think we just lost Max again. He's having another connection issue, but we'll bring him back in as soon as I see him backstage here. But yeah, that's a good point that Max was making. Make sure you, not financial advice, I guess you could say, but life advice, make sure you're diversified in your portfolio. And if you just joined us, we were talking with Max. Here he is. All right, Max, we got you back up. We've got you back. So yeah, I was just telling everybody, reiterating your point, don't be married to one crypto. But yeah, is this sort of like, and I'll have to research this offline, is this more like a yield farming type of thing or staking?
It's not yield farming or anything like that.
Okay.
So the cool thing about it is, like I was mentioning about the whole thing about having an exit plan. At the end of the day, we should, how should I state this? It's kind of like the guy who wins the lottery. I see this time and time again. Guy wins the lottery, Powerball or something like that, and he goes and he spends the whole principal, right? Mm-hmm. And then now he doesn't have much left. What he should have done is what? Earn interest off of what he cashed out on, right?
True. And not, right, exactly, not touch the principal, but just make the money work for you. Yep.
Right, absolutely. So my attitude was, if I had a bunch of stable coins and so on, USDT, et cetera, I want to be able to get the highest amount of a yield or APR by something out there. And so, for instance, there's Clearpool. So for instance, if you try to become, a lender and provide a certain amount of liquidity, right, to these borrowers, and these borrowers that you see here are very well vetted. There's a whole process to it because, let's face it, there has to be. So what you see right here, for instance, you see Aros, FBG Capital, Folkvang. They did a demo. Folkvang was the first to be onboarded with the Clearpool team. And, for instance, if you go actually just go back up to the top, I'm going to show you guys the mainnet where I'm going with this. So if you go to where it says top right launch app, this mainnet actually came out March 23rd. So it's only been out for a little over a month. Okay, and it's going to take a moment for this to load up. So there you go. So these are all onboarded different organizations with Clearpool. So for instance, Folkvang was the first one I saw, and them and Wintermute, and I believe there's like one other. And what you're going to see also right here is, I'll blow this up a little bit for myself. So like, for instance, you see a pool size was it Folkfang 9,521,877. He's utilizing 6,555,000. I should say he, them. 6,556,400, using about 68% of that. And so if you're a lender, your estimated total APR based off of that, right? And again, it's going to fluctuate, but it's about 14.89%. Now, they made the claim that on average, it's roughly about 20% with the fluctuation. Because you got to keep in mind, if nothing is being utilized and somebody was just onboarded, you're going to see like some of these interest rates are like 100%, 50%, and so on. But on average, it's roughly about 20%. So for somebody who wants to earn quite a bit on their stable coin, right, Clearpool could be very appealing to that particular person. Now, that's from a lender point of view. Now, you may be wondering, what about retail investors, you and I, right? The average retail investor. So the average retail investor is going to invest into tokens and so on. Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at that for you. Thanks, Kingsman. So, for instance, I got into Clearpool and I staked with Clearpool. They originally had staking on KuCoin, okay, and that was roughly since October and so on. I didn't get into Clearpool until roughly like early January. It was just kind of like one of those things that was on my radar. But nonetheless, they had what was really appealing, at least 100% APR, right? So I thought, man, this is really cool. That's a significant amount to be earning, on a staking. And if I wanted to take my tokens out instead of waiting like weekly or anything like that, I only had to have it staked, I believe, it was like 3 days, and I could take it out. Not that I wanted to. I'm more of a long-term holder.
Just a point of clarification: are you talking about Clearpool tokens, or are you talking about stable coins? What were you staking to get that APY?
So yeah, just to put some clarification, as a retail investor, I bought my Clearpool tokens off of KuCoin, and then I staked them on their platform for 100% APR. And that was the first. Where I'm going with this is that was the first video I did, because I said to myself, I try to, just like all of us, right? We go on YouTube, we do searches, and I didn't see much at all really being covered on Clearpool. And I thought, well, I will try to cover this. And at first, I only got like a few views. I didn't get no subs. And I think like 2 days went by and I didn't get a single sub. But it was like by the third day, somebody subscribed. And I said to myself, wow, if I was able to reach one person who found value out of this, I'm not going to quit. And then from there, it was just like, one sub became 3, 5, et cetera, et cetera. So do you think it started with Clearpool.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you think the reason why not a lot of people cover this is because, I think we just lost them. Maybe the reason why that people are not covering this is because of the complexity of it. It's not something that's like a community-based token where it's kind of straightforward. Let's bring Max back up. I was just saying, Max, I don't know if you heard me there when we lost you. Is it something that they're not covering because it's a complex, it's very involved with the way that these pools work? Is it something that people don't quite understand? Maybe like community-based tokens are kind of straightforward. They talk about NFTs and they talk about maybe the metaverse or having to play to earn game. Is it because of the complexity of it that people are not diving into it as much and covering it on YouTube? Or what's your thought on that?
It's probably a little bit of both, to be honest. I mean, that was one thing I definitely noticed before coming to your channel. I was thinking, it's just that, I mean, there's not a huge community behind it. I shouldn't quite state that as far as if you do it in comparison to like, the Saitamas of the world and Shiba Inus and so on. I mean, obviously those are going to have, millions of people like Twitter and so on. Last I checked, Clearpool's got roughly, I think, like 44,000, maybe more. It's got a decent following nonetheless. But again, I full-heartedly believe that it's still a great project. People should look more into it because it's very unique. I mean, to make the claim of market-leading returns on your stable coins, that's tremendous. As a lender coming in, right, That's very appealing for those particular lenders. It's very appealing for the borrowers. For instance, myself, a few years ago when I wanted to do my own game project and so on, if there would have been a Clearpool back then, right, I could have been like, hey, you know what? I want to raise capital. I want to raise it fast. And I need to get into something like this, decentralized finance. As a game changer, if you will. But again, I get where you're coming from and where other people, for instance, it's not one of those that stand out as far as this is a community-driven, and I hate to use this term, meme token, because it's not. It's not a meme token at all. It's a totally different
not at all.
thing. Yeah.
It's not something that's straightforward, like with Kronos. We call it Kronos now. It was crypto.com. You understand what you're investing in, but this requires like Clearpool. It seems like you have to dig into it a little bit more to understand what you're actually getting into. But if you can earn, money from it rather than just, the appreciation of the token, and you're earning some kind of interest, that's something that I definitely want to learn more about. And I will, research more. And of course, like talking to you, I'll learn more about it. So that's what we want to bring onto the channels, some different things. And, that's why you're here. But
right, and I was also, of course, thinking of, the time that we're allotted and so on, or how deep we want to get into some of these projects. Again, for me, Clearpool is a long-term play. I'm looking to hold what I have for, I don't know, probably like 2 to 5 years or something like that, because of the compounded interest. And then also, I full-heartedly believe, and it's not just like, oh, I have faith to believe that this is going to be going to the moon. No, it's not like that. The way I look at it is they have tremendous utility. And at the end of the day, you want to get invested into projects that have great utility. Because if it doesn't,
100% agree with that. Yeah, I've gotten into so many, meme tokens with almost no utility. So it's a breath of fresh air to see something that has utility or a lot of good utility. But yeah, that's something that people should look at, is getting into tokens that have strong utilities.
Before we move further with some of these other projects, I just want to state beforehand, currently on KuCoin, if you're looking to do staking on their centralized exchange, it's at 50% APR. That won't be at that amount forever. Actually, if you go to Larry on this page, this Clearpool page, and you clicked on stake, they're going to have native staking on the actual mainnet, which you see right here. And the amount that they mentioned was, in the future, when this becomes available, you're going to be able to lock that up. I believe the 2-year lockup is you're going to be able to get that 100% APR in the future. So again, it says coming soon, for instance. But if you're looking to do this, especially like like if you live in the U.S. like myself and so on, you're going to want to go to KuCoin. If you want to do AscendX is only available to those that are outside the U.S. So I just want to throw that out there.
Right. Yeah, that's I think the regulation is coming for sure. And, I think a lot of the regulation, I just bring up regulation because of staking. A lot of the regulation, I think, is because the government is looking to get their piece of the pie. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me from the tax standpoint. But it looks like they're going to go after certain things that involve staking. So, I'm just looking to capitalize on that while it's still around. But unfortunately, when you look at a savings account and you're going to earn, 0.25% or whatever it is, because I don't have any savings accounts, but because they don't pay anything. But there's no comparison between that and staking something. But you can see why the government might want to start zeroing in and eliminating this, because the big banks, are a lot of times controlling what's going on in the government, and they have big lobbies and things of that nature. So it'd be interesting to see how long stuff like this lasts. But I think what's your thoughts on that? Is regulation going to cut into this? Or are they going to have to modify some things, these type of platforms?
To be honest, it's hard to say, based on what we briefly saw with, the whole thing of crypto regulation, like what was it you saw AOC, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, when she was interviewing a few people from various crypto experts, if you will, a few months ago. I don't know if you saw that in the House chamber. And one of the experts was there, and he was explaining the whole concept behind what cryptocurrency is and so on. So at the end of the day, as the saying goes, you would think cooler heads would prevail, and hopefully some, those type of heads of departments, if you will get with those who are thinking about changing or making legislation to, put too much regulation. There does need to be a level of regulation. Let's face that. I mean, I think you currently see that going on with the lawsuit against Uniswap. I'm sure you probably heard about.
Yeah, I have.
Right.
I'm surprised that I think PancakeSwap will be next, because if they think that Uniswap is risky, they should see some of the Binance plays on PancakeSwap. But
right.
Yeah, I saw the lawsuit on Uniswap, and I'm sure PancakeSwap won't be too far behind. It's a double-edged sword. There's so many ways that, plays that you can make money with, but at the same time, there is a lot of rug pulls on both of those platforms. So, it's,
and that's where it's at. It's just it's protecting people from that. It's like, let's face it. I mean, if it's a new community or meme token, let's not even say community drill. Let's just say it is a rug pull or something, but it's a meme focused rug pull token, right? It's like not
like that, like Batman Inu that just rugged.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they try to show that to you and get you to cover it, but
I was gonna say they emailed me the other day asking me for an AMA and or not, actually not an AMA, but a review. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, I'm kind of scared about this. I don't even need to look at the project, because I'm thinking Batman Inu, isn't that going to be a copyright problem down the road? So I didn't even have to look too far into it. I know some YouTubers talked about it, and that's cool. None of this is financial advice on any of these channels, but I just, I look at it, I'm like, oh man, I don't think this is a good idea to bring these guys on. And, I talk about different projects all the time, and I'm like, man, I hope that this doesn't rug, and it's something that I want to protect my audience from. But, when you're starting out calling yourselves Batman Inu, you're already opening yourself up to some potential lawsuits if this thing starts to take off. But the big thing is, projects, people want them to be doxxed. I know Shiba Inu is kind of an exception. Bitcoin is an exception. But now with all the rug pulls, people are kind of demanding to see a face and a name and see you on YouTube. So, they put a lot of pressure on Phantom Project, for example. And that's something that, the devs are messaging me earlier saying they want to come on possibly and do an AMA. But, it's unfortunate because decentralized, I've had some projects tell me, well, we don't want to dox because it's not truly decentralized. And I'm like, well, people are kind of demanding it, and because of all the rug pulls. So, regulation is good and bad. It's unfortunate that we can't regulate ourselves from these rug pulls, but it is what it is. It's tough out there, but there's money to be made and money to be lost. You got to be careful. So
no, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I had to mute the mic there for a second.
No, you're fine. Did you want to talk about? I know I promised Kingsman we would talk about this. I don't know anything about this Angora token, and I don't even know how to find it. I'm hoping it's on Dex Tools.
No, we'll either I myself or Larry will. If I tell you I'm going to look into something, you better believe I'm going to look into it. So you just got to give me a chance to, of course, research it just like anything.
Yeah,
I have certain criteria that I look into.
I'll pull it up really fast. He messaged me, I think it was on Telegram or something, or Twitter. I'll pull it up really fast. I don't know if I can even find it. Let me see if I can spell it. It's and I'll just do this for like a minute. Gora. We can take a look at it together if I can find it. I guess it might be this one here, Ango. It's on Uniswap. And I don't know anything about this, but there's so many tokens. That's one thing that's kind of frustrating for me. We have like whatever we have, 11,000, 20,000, whatever it is. It's just hard to keep up with everything. But yeah, okay. So there was a big red candle here. Must have been like a pre-sale. And then starting to come back here.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to see that, of course, with like, LunaOne, did the pre-sale, boom, just does that. But in reality, you got to be prepared for things like that.
I think this is one that we're going to have to look on offline, because I'll have to, search for their socials and stuff like that, because there's no hot links here on Dex Tools. But we can go move on. Do you want to talk about something else? You want to talk about LunaOne, or what do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, let's hop into LunaOne real quick, because I know we have a certain audience of people who may be looking into that. I know I was promoting that on Twitter.
Okay, so LunaOne, just before you get into it, I've heard maybe on Crypto Realist channel someone mentioned it. I don't think that he was getting into it, and then I can't remember if it was Rodney's channel, but a lot of times I see things on the different comment sections of these YouTube channels. And so I don't know anything again about LunaOne. So surprise me about LunaOne. Tell me whatever you want to tell me about LunaOne.
Oh, shucks, sorry, I had that on mute. Sure. So for instance, before we actually dive into it, if you go further down the page,
okay,
you can show some people the video. I don't know how well your audio plays over the live stream.
That's what I've got. I don't even know if it'll play. Let's see if the volume is there.
Yeah, that ain't bad. Yeah, blow that up. And
can you hear the volume?
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that's something. Look at the graphics on that. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit so I don't get in trouble with YouTube. I like the music.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, like, for instance, Metapolis, they do the domes, and for instance, with this, it's kind of like, in a way, it kind of reminds me of what Elon Musk is doing with the whole, I don't know if you've seen the whole $15,000 sustainable living unit that Tesla,
I have not seen that, but this is similar to what he's working on. Oh, I think I lost you again. So guys, if you just joined us, please do me a favor and smash the like button. We are talking with Max about his YouTube channel. He covers a lot of these different projects. LunaOne, I believe, is a pre-sale. That's all I know about it. He's just starting to talk about that now. So we'll wait to see if Max can get in here. Oh, Run Guys pumped it hard. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to take a look into that. We're going to get to Max's thoughts on LunaOne for sure. I'm sure he's got a connection issue and he'll be back up shortly. So I will definitely check out Kingsman. I want to check out that Ango and learn more about that. Hopefully Max will be back with us. Like I said, guys, please like the stream so we can get this out there, and comment if you want to see Max more on our channel here. Oh, here he comes.
Completely back out completely.
Oh,
shut off the link. Yeah,
maybe it's a StreamYard issue or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is the first time I've ever had anybody on live, so I'm gonna have to try to work out the bugs too. My tech guy was in Washington D.C. I think he might be back either today. Well, he might have been back today, but maybe tomorrow. I gotta contact him. He'd help me set some stuff up. Like we were talking offline, I'm not the most tech savvy person, so it could be something I'm doing wrong. I don't know. But
no, it's okay.
Yeah, so you were saying everybody wants to know, or a couple people are asking about your thoughts on this. So this seems to be a hot topic. Has the pre-sale started yet or hasn't started yet?
So the pre-sale has been going on for a while. I of course, just want to state that I'm not a member of Run Guys or anything like that. Like many of you guys, I do follow them. I think they have a great channel. J.R. Hoffman and the rest of the team, they kill it as far as coverage on projects and so on. I love what they're doing. But one of the things that they were promoting for a while, and I think there still are, is LunaOne. And, just like the next guy, my attitude was, I am so invested in so many different crypto projects. Currently, I think like 34, 35 different projects. And so for me, I have to really narrow down what to get into at this point. I can't just be like throwing a few hundred here, a few thousand here. And so, it all adds up, right? It's hard-earned money. So, I thought
it's hard to keep track of too. Not to interrupt. It's so hard to keep track of because you don't just look at the charts. You can, but you need to keep up with all the news on all these tokens. If you got I'm kind of the same way. Whatever I have, a bunch of them. I probably have more than 34, and I'm trying to slim down my positions in a lot of them because I just can't keep up with the news with every single one of them, and I have to kind of stay informed to watch what my investment is doing because sometimes you lose track. And especially the ones that you don't have a lot into, but you you're right. You put $200 into one, 500 here, 1,000 there, a couple thousand, it adds up. And before you know it, you're all over the place. But yeah, I have to kind of tighten up what I have with my holdings. But yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead. What you're saying?
No, so it's okay. So for instance, with LunaOne, if you go a little bit further down, it has kind of like a comparison, if you will. So actually just stop this. Yeah, just keep it right there. One thing that was very impressive to me was, for instance, like with Metapolis, they have some pretty good partners already on board. Like for instance, you see what are those guys called? Ninjas in Pajamas from esports. If you're into esports, you could totally recognize how that's huge in itself. But for people who aren't into esports, right, non-gamer people, they don't recognize some of that stuff. So for LunaOne, you already see some big names right here, right? You already see EA, Electronic Arts. You already see Activision. Actually, if you go up where you just at, sorry.
Was it up there? Okay.
You're already around the page. It's all right.
Was this it?
No, just go to the very top.
Oh, okay.
Close to the top, right? Yeah, right. Not very, very top. A little bit further below. There you go. Where it says game developers and so on. So, for instance, yeah, you guys, we see Electronic Arts, we see Activision, Blizzard, Valve from Steam and so on. I mean, those are big names. Coca-Cola, obviously. Heck, yep. Meta, right? Formerly Facebook, Daimler, right. Daimler-Benz. You got Microsoft. You got the Microsoft team logo. So what they're trying to do, is similar, I guess you could say, to what Metapolis is doing, but it's just, I guess there's a little bit more freedom. I mean, of course, I love Metapolis, and I'm going to continue to cover it and so on, and I'm personally invested. Again, not financial advice or anything, but,
you better not be giving financial advice.
Don't do that.
Has to say that, right? It's not,
please don't sue me. Don't sue me. No.
It's not financial advice, but if you believes, you're always right? He always says he's all right. But for me, I say it might not be financial advice, but it might be good life's advice, and it's educational, right? So
but what stood out, of course, is they already have the big mainstream brands, if you will, and then of course, Metapolis, they want to do the whole thing with the education, because at the end of the day, I mean, Zoom is like, there's only so much you can do with Zoom. Basically, right. Zoom is like what? Me and you, as we speak, looking at each other on these little windows, right?
That's it.
That's pretty much it for the most part, and sending each other some links. Where on the other hand, like Metapolis and also LunaOne, you're having a different perspective, in which opens up a whole new immersive environment, an immersive classroom environment, if you will. It doesn't have to just be the typical classroom, right? It could be this amazing virtual way of doing things. And so to see Coursera on there, back when I was, heavily doing the whole school thing, I used Coursera. I mean, heck, you can get certified in so many different things at Coursera. And for them to already have that play and that partnership done speaks volumes. It just, multiple catalysts, if you will, with everything they got going on. And then, of course, if you scroll down just a little bit more, they do have a nice comparison chart. A little bit more, actually.
A little bit more?
Yeah. Like, right here. So how is LunaOne superior compared to other metaverses? I'm not going to read all of these, but for instance, I did like this part where it says native distributed file cloud to achieve true decentralization. I looked at this as being looking at more from an investor standpoint, and that is for those of you guys who may be familiar with like Filecoin, right? Filecoin is like the cream of the crop as far as crypto file transferring or file storage services. They just absolutely are. Another one is BitTorrent. I'm personally invested in that, but it's not really like a lot of price action going on with that as we speak. I may actually get out of that.
It's kind of hard to 2x your money on Bitcoin right now. I mean, it'll eventually happen, but there's
I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about actually BitTorrent, because they do. They're focused on a lot of file storage.
Okay, all right. So, I didn't hear you all the way.
No, that's okay. So, for instance, when I saw this right here, it was a native distributed file cloud to achieve true decentralization. I thought, wow, these guys are ready, opening up that avenue, right? That catalyst. And that's just one part of it, right? Not to mention all these other things that got going on with the metaverse. So, of course, if you scroll down just a little bit.
Is it? He's. Oh, we just lost him again. I need to find out if this is an ERC token or a BNB based one. So I'm going to wait for Max to come back. We're talking right now in this segment, this portion of the show, we're talking about LunaOne. And currently, I believe he said it's active with pre-sale. I'm going to look into it. I've heard it mentioned briefly on other channels. So we'll take a look at that one too. Hopefully Max will come back in. We might be having some trouble with StreamYard. Anybody that just joined us. Oh, here it is. It is a Binance token. Okay, good. And here he comes. So while you were gone, we just established, because of my lack of knowledge with LunaOne, I was just told it is a Binance token. I thought it might have been, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, go ahead and continue. I guess, Max, I need to figure out if it's my end on the StreamYard or maybe you have some connection issue on your end, but we're glad to have you back.
I honestly don't know what's going on, because I mean, I myself am a gamer, so it's like if I was playing an online game right now, I'd be like pulling my hair out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they would say, "What's up with all this lag or whatever?" And it's not like that. I'm just simply like just dropping for no reason.
So
I
maybe,
don't know.
Maybe it is StreamYard. I don't know. I was looking to look into another one. I can't remember the name, but it's maybe Streamlabs, or I'm going to look into another streaming software. But you know, this is kind of user friendly, but I don't know if it's just dropping it. We'll have to figure it out.
Sorry, Ray. We honestly don't know.
We just lost him again. Okay. So it is a Binance-based token. And I think we're going to get Max back up here. Max is there. I think he'll be back soon, guys. And I apologize for the connection issues. It could be, like I said, on our end with StreamYard. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I think we're about to add Max back to the stream right now. There he is. Max is back.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, I really don't know why this is going on.
Like I said, it could be something to do with StreamYard.
I don't have crappy internet. I just want to state that I have really, really good internet. So.
All right. So we're talking about LunaOne. So this is basically, it looks to be like another metaverse play, and it's on the Binance Smart Chain. Where's the pre-sale right now? Is it on Pink Sale or is it somewhere else?
So actually, when you go to buy XLN on the top right.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah. What will happen is, the nice thing about it is you don't have to just pay, like, for instance, with typical ERC20 token,
right?
Use Ethereum. You can actually pay with, they have a huge list of what you can pay for with it for. Like, let's say you want to use USDT, various other ones. Of course, it's going to show you this after you create your account. But what's going to state is, even if you were completely brand new to crypto and you didn't have anything set up as far as a certain amount of USDT or ETH or just whatever, you can actually pay with your debit card. But you got to keep in mind, if you do that, they're not going to send you your coins until about 6 weeks after the official distribution of the tokens, or the coins, I should say. So you would have to, of course, wait a little longer. Of course, if you pay with crypto, you will get your coins the day of, which I believe is in roughly 5 days. For those who get their coins/tokens of LunaOne 6 weeks out, you will get it based on the price from the original coin offering.
Right. So if I had crypto now, I could buy it now, and I'm getting it right through their website. Is that how it's working?
Right. So you would register an account, and then you would pick which one you're going to use. So for instance, I used ETH. I know it sounds crazy, but with the whole crypto crash that's been going on, that my gas fees were like $3.15, which is just like unheard of, right?
Right.
So I used my ETH because I just didn't want to bother purchasing more. I already had like 300 in ETH, and so I did it that way. Of course, you're welcome to do any one they have selected there. And then what's going to happen is, on that return address to receive, you do need to have a Binance Smart Chain address to receive it. So my rule of thumb is, like I do Coinbase wallet for all my Ethereum, small cap token, Saitamas, Cliff, et cetera, right? Shinobi. And then for my ears,
Guys, I apologize about the connection issues we're having. We lost Max, but he'll be back soon, I'm sure. We just keep having some sort of connection issue. Let's see what there's a comment here. Shalom Dome. What I really found interesting about LunaOne is that they will have haptic suites to where you will be able to feel, touch, and smell in the universe. Okay. Well, you can't get much more realistic than that. So I'm going to bring Max back up. He just popped back in. Max, you can see there's a comment I just put up on the screen there if you want to read that comment. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it says, hopefully I'm pronounced this right, Shalom Dome. What I really found interesting about LunaOne is that they have haptic suits to where you will be able to feel, touch, and smell in the metaverse. He's absolutely right about that. I actually was, I found out about that. Was it JR of Run Guys was just briefly talking about that. I actually forgot about that, but that is a major thing because it's part of the immersion, right? It's not just seeing it firsthand with VR, right? People want to feel it.
I wonder how in the world they're going to do that, where you can actually feel something. I mean, that's beyond what we've seen so far. I mean, that's going to be, if they can pull that off, that'd be something.
Yeah, it's totally doable. I mean, it's totally doable. I mean, if you look at, like for instance, here in the Phoenix area, we have what they call Cox Communications, and it shows a commercial of, like this lady in Malaysia, and then this lady here in the U.S., right? And they want to be able to give each other a hug, and they've been separated because COVID, all these for a couple of years, but they want to give each other like a virtual hug. So Cox provides them a kind of like a poncho, if you will, to go over themselves. It's kind of like a Snuggie, if you will, but it's different. And then, and then you put over yourself, and then like they hit a button on both sides, and then it, you can feel it.
Feel the sensation of it, yeah. Like you're getting a hug.
Right, it's like a virtual hug. So I mean,
wow,
as basic as that sounds, right? Now put that into like a metaverse play, right? There's a lot they can do with all sorts of things, like different types of fabric, and you press a button with your VR, whatever, and it triggers. You know what I mean? So it's totally doable. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, that's something I haven't heard of, but that sounds pretty wild, actually. So, when does the I'm not going to hold you on the spot here, but do you know when the pre-sale ends? Do you remember that?
I don't have the exact date. I just know that it's over in, I think, less than 5 days, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the exact date off the top of my head, but what I like is, I was thinking for a while of getting into certain pre-sales, but there's always that risk involved that you can't run your own private self-audit like a token sniffer or, whatever, right? But with this, like for instance, if you can click on the team, JR of Run Guys, for instance, I mean, he's stated that him and the Bull Run Guys, or the Bull Run Guys,
the Run Guys,
guys, what I mean?
Yeah.
Have stated that they have messaged their team and so on, and they have replied back, and if you click on this, it takes you right to their their LinkedIn pages and so on. So I mean, these aren't made up profiles; these are real, actual people putting their real reputations and putting themselves out there. So that right there was like, yeah, this is not a full dox, right? But it's kind of it's kind of like doxing themselves in a way,
Right.
So, those things is what stood out for me because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a little bit more risk when you get involved with, these initial coin offerings.
With the pre-sales, yeah. Well, they must have some money behind them and some well thought out plans if they have this many people involved. I mean, there's a lot of people. Some of these projects start out with just maybe 2 people. So it looks like something that, I'm going to definitely read up on for sure.
Well, I definitely would. And, I don't want to promise people the moon or anything like that because, every project, for crying out loud, let's face it, right, Larry? this is going to the moon. You know, I mean,
especially if you hang out in their Telegram groups. I haven't been obviously in this one, but every other meme is, you know, a rocket ship going to the moon with, you know, something crazy jumping on the rocket ship, a monkey or whatever it is. There's
everything's going to the moon. Right.
Everything is to the moon. They got the bots posting everything every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
but it's especially with the meme tokens. But this is, you know, this is a breath of fresh air because these are not meme tokens that we're talking about here. There's just something that have, you know, real utility. And if these are real people behind it, like you're saying, you know, this is something that I'm definitely going to take a close look at and see if I want to put any of my money into it, because I think that, you know, while we're talking about pre-sales is the other thing too, you know, so you've got gaming, metaverse, and pre-sales. You know, I'm constantly trying to find pre-sales. I'm always posting on Twitter, looking for them. You know, I've gone back and forth talking to some of the people at Pixul. Obviously, I'm talking to the people at Phantom. I know there's mixed emotions about that, and hopefully we'll get an AMA to clear up some of that questions and confusion on that side. But if you can get in early to a good project, I don't need to tell you this. You know, I think it's just huge. If you can get in earlier, the better. There is a lot of risk involved, and you know, if you don't have a contract to look at, there's risk too. So,
I mean, heck, I mean, I look at like Clearpool when it's 4 cents. I mean, if I would have, for the person that got into that at 4 cents, that would have been a forever green token, right? Yep. We always want to get involved in some of those. And what I mean by forever green is literally just that. Even if the market dips and so on, which it does, you're never going against your initial holding, the value, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got in early on Terra. I had strong feelings about Terra. I did not know that there was a pre-sale for it. I found out after the pre-sale was over, but I did get in very early on launch. I remember it was like, I think it was like 6:30 in the morning Eastern time. Right. And it was, you know, we were waiting. We got into it, but, you know, and then they had that Binance thing and, you know, it shook everybody. Everybody got scared from that. They just came out with an AMA, and I have to, you know, I think it was on Crypto Stacker's channel. I'll have to watch it again. But, you know, one thing can just derail a project or cause it to have a cascading effect where people lose confidence or there's FUD around it. But, you know, I still believe strongly in Terra, and I think it'll come out of its funk, so to speak. But, you know, one thing can hurt a project and lose, you know, you can lose a lot of momentum with it. But, you know, all projects are going to have some sort of uncertainty and doubt. But, you know, the earlier, the better. I mean, especially if you've got something that is a strong, strong project. Oh, here, let's put up this comment right here. I got into Terra after launch, but that's a long-term play for me. They will surprise a lot of people. I agree with that. Shalom Dome. I definitely agree that Terra is going to surprise a lot of people. Bought into launch, and then I bought a couple other times. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. Welcome back. Welcome back, Max. So we were just quickly, I put this comment up on there, and I was just talking briefly about Terra a little more. And I do agree that Terra will surprise people. Did you get into Terra, or you weren't into that one?
I haven't gotten into Terra. It was one of those.
We lost Max again, unfortunately. They have 16 million. Okay. So LunaOne has 16 million in contributions so far. Wow. That's a lot. So welcome back, Max.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what's going on.
No, don't be. It's probably not your fault. You know, I was having some issues with this camera earlier when I was doing the test. So I'm thinking maybe it's just something with, it might be a short or something like that. So I'm
having a good time talking to you anyway, and I'm sorry for the interruptions there. But
no, I'll try to get a new, brand new camera.
Remember, this is only our first streams together, so we'll make it better. Yeah. But let me ask you this: this is a shocker to me. There's already 16 million. Does that sound right to you? There's already 16 million in LunaOne. So we just lost Max again. You know, if it wasn't for these connection issues, I'd say this is a great time, a great first live stream with me and Max. All right, here he comes.
Saying
All right.
16 million contributions so far.
Yeah. I don't know if that's accurate, but I mean, if it is, that's
I actually
that's a lot.
heard a figure like that. Last I saw it was like 14 million. So
Wow.
I think that's actually a pretty accurate statement, which is tremendous. And on top of that, I mean, if you look at the particular, the team that they already have, and I don't want people.
So we were just chatting with Max, guys, and I appreciate your patience. Everybody that's still here, hopefully he comes back in soon. Let's see what Shalom Dome says. Definitely enjoying the stream. Max, definitely knowledgeable dude. Yes, he is. All right, Max, I would tell you real quick before you get jumping into it again that Shalom Dome is saying he's definitely enjoying the stream. Max is definitely a knowledgeable dude. Yes, I'm going to turn this. Max is a diamond in the rough. He's a small YouTuber.
Oh,
I'm going to take credit.
You're too kind.
One
Thanks,
thing.
guys.
I'm taking credit for discovering you and bringing you onto the channel. So
heck, if it wasn't for your channel, if it wasn't for you having your, just being a kind, like informative person who, you went from 100 to where you're at. I mean, you're the diamond in the rough. So how about that?
Well, you're going to get there. So what we're talking about is LunaOne. Anybody that's joined us, there's a double-edged sword with that. The 16 million, let's say they get to whatever they get. Let's say they get to 20 million. It's good and bad. It's good because it shows a tremendous amount of interest in the project before it's launched. The only bad side to it is that it's already starting out with a high market cap. I know people were complaining about Phantom. I don't know what it is, around 3 million into it now. And if it reached the hard cap, which it didn't, it would have been 6 million. So people are saying, it's true. For example, like Strange Inu, I think Adam Sheldon was talking about, he got into it when it was like $4,000 market cap, which is unheard of.
Oh, wow.
But if you can get into something like if LunaOne launched with a 500,000 or $1 million, it's a little easier to go to 10 million and 10x your money. So if you're at 20 million starting out, let's just use a round number, and you want a 5x, that means you got to get to 100 million market cap. Now, I'm not saying that LunaOne can't do that. It might be able to.
Right.
But that's the only downside. But if you've got that much FOMO in the pre-sale where it's already at 16 million, then, we might be seeing some great things coming from LunaOne.
I honestly think so. I mean, some people might have that too. Well, of course you're going to say so. You're personally invested into it. It's more into it than just that. For me personally, I want to get involved in, like I mentioned, with multiple metaverse plays because I really think that's where we're going as far as crypto in general. And if you could just recognize the massive amount of, like, literally trillions of dollars are going to be exchanged with various metaverse plays. Why wouldn't you want to get involved in something like that? Again, not financial advice or anything like that, but let's be honest about it. I mean, as the saying goes, follow the money. We follow whales, right?
Yes.
What they're doing, Shiba Inu, there's massive whales coming in. Well, you got to look at metaverse plays like that. It hasn't happened yet, right? Because this is all new, but that is where the massive amount of money that's going to be exchanged is going. When I did some more research in regards to LunaOne and so on, I saw big influencers. I saw, mid-range, like 10,000 subs and so on. Again, at the end of the day, none of us should be trying to get involved in any project based on what I say or Larry or a big influencer, anybody on YouTube. We got to do our own research. But the consistent thing I saw was that this could 1,000x. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, 1,000x. Holy crap. Like, let's look into this a little bit more. When you see multiple different channels and, analysts and heck, even articles and so on about this whole thing with LunaOne, even if 100x, for me personally, my $300 investment becomes 32 grand. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
For a lot of people, an extra 32 grand is totally, that's going to help you out for the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's a year's salary for some people.
Yeah.
But all right. So LunaOne. So we've got LunaOne. What's the one that we can compare it to? What would you say LunaOne is like? Is it compared to, Are we talking about like the sandbox here, Decentraland? What would you compare it to? What do you think it can become like?
Believe it or not, I'm not going to compare it to Decentraland or Sandbox. I'll be honest with you, Larry. I don't think it deserves that kind of comparison. Nothing against us. I'm personally invested to Sand. I'm not into Decentraland and so on. But to a sense, even though it's a metaverse play, it is kind of an apples and orange comparison. If I was going to say anything close to it being compared to, I would say more like Metapolis to a sense. Kind of like the two are very similar to a sense on the platform of like how it's portrayed and so on. For instance, like Metapolis, you have the domes, and then each dome is like how like has a highway, if you will, that connects you to the main city. And then they already announced that in Metapolis there's going to be multiple cities, right? So with LunaOne, when you look at it briefly and read about the description on what they have going on, they're kind of similar in that regard. So that's the only one I could say is kind of close to that. As far as the freedom of what they got going on, like on that comparison chart, to me, LunaOne, what do you call it? Like encapsulates or embodies the whole concept of what is so beautiful about blockchain technology, and that is not being so taking a decentralized approach to their metaverse. Because if you think about like Meta, right, with Facebook, that's centralized, written all over it.
Right.
Let's face it. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg and all that. I'm not trying to bash him or so on, but he wants control.
Well, you can bash him if you want to.
Okay.
I don't think there are too many people in crypto are too crazy about Facebook and Meta, but yeah, I think it's definitely the big boys centralized stuff. I mean, just a central big company, Facebook, trying to take over the world, or at least the metaverse as well. The real world and the metaverse. They're trying to take over everything, and you got that big bully on the block, so to speak, and then you got the smaller metaverses looking at this like, do we really want Facebook to take over? They're already trying to take over the real world. Do we want them to take over the metaverse too? I don't think people do.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you or me, we're not fortune tellers or anything like that. But the way I look at it personally is, the metaverse plays that are going to do the best are the ones that the ease of access. LunaOne kind of strikes me as being that. And then on top of it, for them to already have these big name partners, if from day one on the launch, when that happens, if they can establish themselves as being the ones in which like are making it just that, the ease of access, it's very simple. Wow. As far as that statement of like 1000x or heck, even 100x, I mean, I don't think they're too far off, personally.
Well, you've definitely piqued my interest. This is something that afterwards, probably tomorrow, I'm going to definitely read up on, take a look at their website inside and out, and try to go to some of the LinkedIn profiles, read about these guys. I'm looking over their roadmap here real quick, and
very well organized. I mean, for them to already have this, I mean, think of other projects that want us to invest, right? They don't even have some of these basic things like a proper roadmap.
No, I mean, we're used to on this channel and a bunch of other of the degenerate channels. We're basically investing in cartoons. We're investing in cats and dogs and chickens or whatever the heck the next thing is. Squirrels. I don't even know, but we're investing in all these crazy projects.
Right.
And sometimes we're just investing on something that looks good, on the website, but do you really know if they're ever going to come out with a play to earn game, for example? Not to bash any projects, but we've seen a lot and nothing ever gets released. And people in the crypto world, as you know, are impatient. So some of these projects that are coming out with utility right away, I think are going to do well. And people are demanding that. They want utility right away, and they want to see your face. They want to hear your voice. They want to know your name.
Yeah,
So.
the whole thing. I mean, people say this is me fudding Mononoke. I'm personally invested in Mononoke. I have a decent
Me
sized
too.
but
Me too. I'm going to send you
ugh.
like a gift card to McDonald's with the Mononoke that I have. It costs more for the gas fees than what it's worth. I don't even know what I have.
Yeah,
$5, $10 in Mononoke.
Yeah, it's kind of like like going to a big wedding or something like that or whatever, right? And you're expecting that there's going to be like a decent dinner, right? We're not trying to be snobs or anything, but and then
It's kind of like investing in Mononoke. It was just like throwing your money out the window or flushing it down the toilet or just, playing a roulette wheel and seeing what happens. I mean, at the time that I got into it, there was everything coming out like Piccolo Inu and whatever it was, Zombie Inu and all these ones that a lot of the bigger influencers were talking about. So they made you feel like, this is it. This is going to be a real game. And they come out with whatever it was. I made a video about it the other day and kind of made a joke about it, but they come out with these. Wolverine was another one. I'm still waiting on that, but I have a little more faith in Wolverine. That might turn into a real project. But Mononoke Inu is just.
I'm in that too.
You're in that too. Mononoke Inu, you might as well just shoot yourself in the foot with it because it didn't go anywhere. So looking at these different projects like LunaOne, Clearpool, these different things, is opening up my eyes. I'm invested in other solid, blue chips, but be nice to get into something like some of these that, are small caps right now that actually have a chance of going somewhere. So,
and that's where it's at. I mean, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to the small cap tokens because I mean, you want, like if it shedded like 1 or 2 zeros, you could see significant, price action for your holding, right? But at the same time, it's, it could go the other way too, as you know. So,
I'll tell you what, if Mononoke Inu ever comes out with a game that people play and they can actually earn something from it, or even if they come out with a game that's fun to play, I'll come on my channel and say that it was the comeback crypto of the year, or maybe
it would be actually.
Yeah.
Well, do you know of any? Well, some people might say Saitama, but I'm not for the Saitama. I mean, I still fully believe that Saitama, it would be what you're talking about. It's going to be the comeback king.
Do you think Saitama is going to come
back?
Yeah,
I really think it. I really think it will
Me
be.
too.
I mean, I know there's a lot of FUD going on with the whole thing of, the devs. I got a tongue twister. The devs are taking some out and so on. And
well, they have.
Where's it coming from? It's coming from
Saitama,
people who are FUDing the project.
Saitama has to take the money out. The developers have to take the money out because they need to pay for things. They don't have a marketing wallet. That's the point that I know people are upset about it, but if they were a little more upfront, the development team, and said, look, we have to take the money out because we have to pay for things. We have to pay people for promotions. They have the M&A fighters and, I'm sure they pay YouTubers and such. That would have been great because, a lot of people were upset about it, but how else are they going to generate money to pay for things? And I would like to see, I take the approach, and I did a couple videos about it. I'd like to see them just kind of table Saitama and say, look, we don't have the liquidity right now. We're having some issues, and let's focus on something that doesn't require a lot of money. Like let's have a great NFT line. Let's do that.
What you're saying,
what Bitcoin did. What's that?
You were saying on a few videos back on your channel, the V2, new token migration to the V2.
V2, start with V2. It seems like they don't want to do that. They don't want to go to the V2. V2 would be great. Create your own V2 with a marketing wallet, and there you go. You've got your marketing built in. I think their approach they're trying to do is do the different tokens like State of Reality, and I don't know what the other one was, Rue token or something. I'm not even sure. What's that one there? It was I can't even remember. The one where it was like a I can't even remember what it was. There was another token that just came out with the commission, was it? Something like that. I didn't.
The commission. Yeah. Like a mafia.
Yeah, but instead of that, we've got a wolf, right? Let's make some really cool wolves or whatever, and have them all together and different variations of them. Wearing baseball caps or whatever they're gonna have, like cigars, smoking. Just have a bunch of wolves out there, have some NFTs, develop some passive income, do something like Wagmi's doing, where you can take those NFTs and eventually play them in whatever it was called, Wolfcaster. But to me, they don't need that type of money to make an NFT project really good. They don't need all this money for liquidity with the pairs and everything on Saitama. just say, hey guys, let's just develop some income with the NFTs. We have a version 2 now. The version 2 and the NFTs are the two big things that I think could turn Saitama around. I don't think they're going to go with the version 2. I personally don't think they would. But if they do the NFT route and they start taking some advice from watching others like ApeCoin,
Right.
they could really turn things around. They could get all that money that they need to then throw that into Saitama and have the liquidity there and become a hub, a launch pad for a lot of these meme tokens. They could really make their name and be the crypto.com of the community-based tokens. So
I think it's that right there. I mean, if you look at Saitama, I mean, they had that big run up, of course, to the Vegas event, and that was their one and only big pump. You look at Shiba Inu, as the saying goes, zoom out, right? So you had May of 2021, and then you had October of 2021. I think something huge like that could still happen with Saitama, but they need to recreate the excitement that got him leading up to that again. If they can establish that again, that could be huge. Because, I mean, you look at the amount of holders they still have. Of course, I understand that, there's a lot of things going on with Saitama and so on. But if they can get that where it's like virtually bug-free and have a lot of new projects still being onboarded and have it be consistent, and this whole thing of them getting on more centralized exchanges, not just, was it OKX or whatever, but more of that. The centralized exchange thing alone is, I think, the biggest catalyst that not many people talk about. Because we want more and more the traditional investor to come and see, hey, what is this? You know what I mean?
Well, they talked about, competing and taking the business away from Binance and stuff like that. I mean, that just wasn't realistic. They should have started out from the beginning and saying, hey, we're going to come after these centralized exchanges, kind of like what CVC did. I don't know if you got into that one, but CVC, they got into a centralized exchange before they were out of their pre-sale. I think they were planning on getting on Bitmart. So they already were working behind the scenes, and Saitama got on a bunch of exchanges, but they could have gotten on KuCoin, and, crypto.com takes a lot of money. I don't know if it's like $1 million fee or something. There's big money with that, but they could have just said, hey, you know what? We need to do what Shiba Inu did. We need to get on all these exchanges. ApeCoin did it like right away. Day one, they were on like almost all the top exchanges. But, I think Saitama had trouble getting on the exchanges and they didn't talk much about it. And they kind of framed it as if, hey, we don't need these big exchanges. Right. We really don't. We're going to be our own big exchange. And they can be a good exchange. I know Terra's trying to make their own exchange, but Terra is trying to be like more of a traditional exchange. Saitama can find their niche. They can be a launch pad for these community-based tokens. But they're going to have to be careful because these community-based tokens, a lot of them are going to go away. They have to start coming out with ones that are going to have utilities right away, legitimate projects. I'm into Kishimoto, whatever it was, Kishimoto Inu or whatever. And these projects like Mononoke Inu, they're all the same. They just have not delivered, and they need to find some strong community projects and partnerships with them to put them on Saitama once they have the liquidity that are actually going to go somewhere. But, they've got to come up with it. If they're not going to go with the V2, they've got to do the NFT. I know I'm just kind of beating a dead horse.
No, it's all right. I mean, the whole, I'll say this real quick. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, and I know that we're having a pretty long live stream, which is super cool, by the way. What I was going to say is,
Max got rugged. He rugged himself. He rugged his connection. Guys, like the stream. Do me a favor and like the stream. Let's see what Foxman has to say. Foxman, what are you saying? It's hard to read over there. If they didn't use the money for growth and just let it build up, I'd be more worried about a rug pull. Are you talking about Saitama, Foxman?
Yeah, he's talking about Saitama. I saw he posted that at the time, and he makes a very I would say that's a very true statement because they would be just letting it build up and build up and build up and build up, and then what? Pull the darn rug out from everybody and just drain the liquidity and be out of there.
You know, something else with these migrations, I see that Shalom Dome just said that Luffy just migrated. Something else that we don't talk much about, or maybe people do, but like I haven't had the time. I have a small bag of Volt Inu, and I haven't taken the time to migrate that. And I wonder how many people like what I'm into Shiba Adventure. I made money with that, and then I have like some dust, whatever, $100 into it. I never took the time to migrate that. It probably costs, well, maybe it's not too much in gas fees, but I wonder how many people don't migrate over on these different tokens and they wind up just losing their money. I mean, if you think about it, going to a different version, like a version 2 or version 3, I bet you a lot of people are going to get left behind if they don't migrate over. They just lose all their money, right? If they pull a liquidity, whether they're trying or do it intentionally or not, they're trying to get the money over to version 2. And I think a lot of people might lose out because they don't take the time to migrate if they've only got some dust left or whatever.
You make a great point, because I mean, the same could be said for people who what was that story a while back? A guy made a fortune, like $10 million in Bitcoin, but he doesn't know his passphrase, so he can't do nothing with that. So to a sense, it's like that's 10 million. Yeah, it's still part of, I guess you could say, the supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
darn it, Max rugged his connection again. We've got to get this straightened out, guys. I apologize. The next time we have the stream, hopefully we won't have the connection issues, and Max and I will talk offline, and we'll try to figure out what's going on. What else do you guys want to talk about? Anybody that's left here? We got 3 people left. Drop in the comments section and let me know. Someday, maybe there'll be 300 people left. We'll have to see. Hopefully this channel will grow more and the live streams will get better. So if you want, Max, it's up to you. If you want to try to wind up the stream here, we could try again tomorrow or the next day, because I'd like to keep going and talking with you. It's been a lot of fun, but what we can do is work on the connection issue, before tomorrow night, and we can get it working good.
No, you know what it is? I'm thinking it has to be because I actually borrowed this.
Okay.
I borrowed this from my ex-girlfriend, LOL. My ex-girlfriend, yeah, we're still good friends. It's just, I was just like, hey, I don't want to come to this this live stream, and
she's sabotaging you, man. She gave you a bad camera connection.
This is from her work, and so she's like, go ahead and try it out. It was kind of like spontaneous on the moment, because I was thinking about getting one, but I wouldn't be able to buy one and get it shipped here in time, if you will.
Right.
So what I'll try to do is I'll try to get one, like a brand new one, and then hopefully that solves the issue. Now, if it doesn't, then we'll know something's up. So,
then it's StreamYard. Then it's my end. Yep.
I don't know about that, but it just kind of makes sense, because, when I was testing this earlier today, I was having problems. So I apologize, guys. Yeah.
It's fine. No, I was just telling everybody that this has worked out really good, and I think we've got some good synergy going, and I think what we can do is definitely do this again, and we'll just, for those of you that don't know, I'm not the most tech savvy guy. That's why I have a tech guy that helps me, and Max is a lot more tech savvy than me because he's a gamer, so you must know something about tech.
They credit to Fox, man. He's the one got me into the whole online gaming thing about 20 years ago. He's like, hey, go down to, there's this one place called Emerald Computers, and they could build you a custom built computer, because that was a thing back then. And then from there, I just created my own online gaming community. We've been around for like 20 years, DPG. Shout out to DPG Clan, if there's anybody watching. Probably not, but anyway. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Did you want to, so we're coming up almost on 2 hours. Do you want to say anything, like you have any parting words for the night?
Yeah, we can, maybe do another like 5 minutes or so. I got to get going myself. It's over here. It's almost 8. I got to get some late night dinner going for everybody who's here. But nonetheless, for those who are watching, I just want to state, can't thank you guys enough. I see there's like 5 now watching or something like that. It's That's fluctuated good. And so on, but someday
it'll be 500.
Right. That's exactly the way we got to look at it. Like for instance, me with my channel, 3 days or 2 or 3 days, and there was nobody. And then that one guy, became 5. And I think last I checked on my channel, it was like 428 or something like that. And Heck, look at your channel, 6,660 something or whatever, right? So yeah, that's one way. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. So I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and so on. I mean, I don't consider myself an expert and so on, but I will share my crypto journey. Crypto has definitely affected my life for the good. I truly believe in a few years, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. As far as, you know, being part of, I guess you could say, the millionaire club, because I add up, like, you know, I do the math and I look at, like, where's the overall crypto market going to be hypothetically, and is this realistic? And it's like, yeah, this kind of makes sense. I mean, for me to be able to walk away from Shiba Inu and turn $8,000 investment into like a little over 88K, right? Things like that.
That's and then be able, change.
Yep. Yeah, and then on top of that, being able to look at, you know, like the 34 projects I'm into. Not all 34 projects are going to work out. Let's face it. But even if like, you know, 10% of those worked out, it is math, and it is, you know, that's the way I got to look at it. And you know, you guys can do the same thing too. Again, not financial advice, but I will say this. You know, Austin Hilton says this a lot, and I think this is a great statement, and that is, don't sell for a loss. You may hear people say, oh, well, you know, you got to sell. You got to sell. Why? It ain't going to hurt you to keep holding if you have to. You know what I mean? Sorry to say, I guess you could say I am holding on to my Mononoke Inu for a long time.
I'm forced to hold on to it. I bet you there's probably 30,000 people that are holding on Mononoke Inu because they don't want to pay the gas fees to get out of it. The gas fees cost more than what their bag is worth.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things, you know. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm trying to have my exit positions as far as you know, stable coins and so on. You know, we were talking about that earlier. You want to be that type of person, which you have to have an exit plan. Don't be married to your crypto. Have an exit plan. And then when you do have an exit plan, you know, try to find the ones that are, I guess you could say, a lower risk, and try to find, you know, the ones in which you're, of course, going to pay the most in the APR, and so on. I mean, one of the things I've been on the fence on is about like selling this house, for instance. And I live in the Phoenix area, and you know, the average house here goes for $400,000, and it's like, well, if I sell the house, I could get a certain amount of, you know, I'll basically be putting this into crypto and then be putting it to stable coin, and then that way, it's not just like, oh, hey, I made a bunch of money off of, you know, the purchase of this house of, you know, what was, back in the 90s, it was like 77,000. And now the darn house is worth like, you know, 354,000. And then that's it. No, have the attitude like, now I want to earn interest off of this. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it through stable coin. Right. And that's where I think this whole crypto regulation, because that is a threat to centralized banks, you know, who.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the main thing going on with that. So hopefully people
the
like
government needs to stop being so. The government needs to stop being so greedy and trying to get their hand in everyone else's wallet. But yeah, you raised some really good points. Dry powder, you know, cash on the side is a good thing. One of these live streams, I'll talk to you and everybody out there about my profit taking strategy. I talk a lot about, you know, it's important to take profits. Don't get emotionally tied to your investment. Saitama. That was the big one that I got emotionally tied because I built the channel on that. But I do have a pretty good strategy that I'll share with people. It won't be financial advice. It'll be life advice. But yeah, you've made, you know, really strong points on everything. You know, the housing market, like you're alluding to, has been going crazy pretty much across the country. And I think we're going to see, you know, we're in almost a housing bubble now. Maybe we'll unfortunately see a recession in the fall, and we'll see how that trickles into the crypto market. But we're going to have to see all this stuff. But it's going to be, you know, it's a fun, crypto is just crazy. It's a roller coaster. And it's very, you know, nobody can predict it. You see all these guys with technical analysis on there, and you know, some things help, but there's nothing that is a crystal ball. You know, the more you watch, the more you learn. but technical analysis and things in the news, things in the news can affect anything, so you could have the greatest technical analyst in the world, and then something happens like a war in Ukraine, and that can throw everything off.
Yeah,
so
it's very volatile. So
yep. So yeah, we're gonna come up on the 2-hour mark. This is really crazy because we talked about an hour, but it just naturally is growing into 2 hours, and that's really cool.
yeah, I should probably get going here shortly, Larry, and everybody else who is watching.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to wrap up, or you got any closing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up just by saying, I'll blow up the screen here. Just want to thank everybody that has joined us, and a special thank you to Max. I hope we can do this again soon. We'll talk offline about
Absolutely.
it. And thank you everybody for joining, and go check out Max's channels. He has a crypto channel as well as a gaming channel. Your gaming channel, we even talk about, it's got over 7,000 subscribers. You can follow him on Twitter. I've got the links in the description. Follow those links. Definitely subscribe to Max, and we look forward to having you again on Max. I'll put out information on Twitter as to when our next live stream is. Hopefully it's tomorrow night, but we'll see. We can't promise anybody. And thank you for watching. Max, if you want to just any parting words?
It's been an honor to be, on your, Crypto Talk Now. Again, I've been following you since, you're 100 subs. I will look at the camera and say, hey guys, I just want to thank you all again for tuning in. You took a part of your day to come join us. That means a lot. And with that said, we will take a look at some of the ones you mentioned to, do our own research and so on. Definitely take a look at some of these projects. There's a reason why we're mentioning these projects, not because we're, paid by these projects. We're not.
No,
absolutely
none of them
not.
are paying us.
No,
nope.
absolutely
not these projects that we're talking about tonight. No. Nope.
Right. So with that said, we just think that they're really good projects. And again, that I feel as though, fly under the radar. What's going to help those projects is what people like us, the adoption, if you will, just like with anything. So, yeah, you guys all have a good night. I don't know if I'll be able to be back on tomorrow night, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to try to work that out with Larry and communicate with him and so on. For all, if I can get this thing worked out with the camera, that would definitely put play a factor in regards to that. Who knows? Maybe Larry and I will be the late evening crypto team. We'll be like Shinobi, like Cliff Fettner and all that, right? Doing AMAs instead of AMAs. We're doing the live.
We'll be the Shinobi of YouTubers. We'll stream every night.
Exactly. Yeah. So
well, guys, we're gonna get better and better with these streams, and I thank you guys all for joining us. Thanks again to Max. We're gonna sign off now. Be safe out there, guys. We'll see you very soon on the next video.
All right. See you guys.
Take care, guys.